Judge. Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Varela.
Good afternoon.
So it's been a couple hours, so I want to take you back to this morning, and we were discussing how with Mr. Burrows, you were trying to come up with an answer to his hard question of why you didn't call the police after all this happened, right?
Yeah.
And my questions were specifically related to the evening of October 2nd and 3rd, right?
Yes.
And again, as we said this morning, an easy answer and an obvious answer is that you were scared, right?
Yeah.
But an hour and 15 minutes after Detective Burrows directly told you that you were going to have to come up with an answer for these hard questions, Detective Burrows also asked you, quote, so you were with her after this happened. Were you seeing your kids regularly? Are you with Stacy every day? Do you remember him asking you that?
Yes.
And in response, at that point, again, over 5 hours into your proffer interview, you tell Detective Burrows that you were with Stacy every day after this happened, right?
Yes.
And you started giving Detective Burrows, again, 5 hours into your proffer, specific examples of Stacy just never leaving you alone to go to the police.
Yeah.
You described going to your mom's house to shower and Stacy sitting outside your house and waiting.
Yes.
You even added that Stacy would wait, quote, for hours outside your mom's.
Yes.
You claimed you couldn't spend any time with your kids because of it.
Yes.
You told Detective Burrows that Stacy would even sometimes wait down the street to make sure you wouldn't get out of your car when you dropped your children off at their father's house every night.
Yes.
You even described one time that you finally got to pick up your son from school by yourself. Remember that?
Yes.
And that during that one time when you finally got to pick up your son, again, alone from school, you decided to stop at Human Being for a coffee.
Yes.
And you told Detective Burrows that right when you got to Human Being, you got a text message from Stacy about being at Human Being.
Yes.
You described questioning how Stacy even knew that you were there, right?
Yes.
And you told Detective Burrows, I don't know if she even had a tracker on my phone.
Right.
Right? And that turned into that you were, quote, pretty sure that she actually did have a tracker on your phone in hindsight, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you went on to claim that Stacy had then actually went to Human Being to find out how many coffees you bought.
No, she asked me how many coffees I bought, like if I was buying another one for somebody else.
Right, that was my question. Stacy was like, how many questions, or...
But she didn't actually go to Human Being
Okay.
to see.
Do you recall telling Detective Burrows on June 8th, 2022, quote, and she goes, meaning Stacy, I asked that person, like, how many coffees you got?
Yes.
Like, I was buying one for hobby, I think you mean if I was buying one for hobby, and I was like, I can't even, what if I'm buying one for my son?
Yeah.
So again, you told Detective Burrows that Stacy asked the person how many coffees you bought.
Yes.
And so essentially, or let me take you back to those notes, diary notes that you described with Mr. Perley on direct examination, okay? You testified with him that you were writing these notes in sort of a diary format, right?
Yes.
And this was just something you did in general, right?
Yeah.
And you were doing that even before the incidents on October 2nd, right?
Right.
But then you started writing, I would say, fairly frequently in October and November, right?
Yes.
And as you testified on direct, you were writing these knowing that eventually this was all going to come crashing down, right?
I was writing them mostly for my kids' dad because I was in fear that she was going to kill me. I knew she was going to kill me, and I was just ready for it. I had nobody else to talk to, and so it was just...
You wrote these, as you said, in direct examination because you knew the investigation would look into this, your phone, right?
That too, but I was writing them for my kids' dad.
And I want to turn to, so your testimony is that you wrote these notes because, and purely because you were afraid that Ms. Rodriguez was going to kill you.
Yeah, and I had nobody else to talk to.
Okay. Then, have you seen a copy of this?
Which one is it?
These are the notes that we're talking about. So let me take you to note dated October 6, 2021, right?
Yeah.
That's the fairly long one that you wrote.
Yes.
And you wrote the date of October 6, 2021 in the note, right?
Yeah.
Because again, you knew at some point, potentially, you guys were going to get arrested and get caught, right?
Yeah.
Right. And what's interesting about this note is, again, this is the note that's, you're saying is you being afraid that Stacy's going to kill you, right?
Yeah.
But you actually started that note and wrote that note. The creation date and the metadata is September 6, 2021, right?
Right.
And so essentially this note was actually a suicide note that you had sort of started ahead of time.
I believe it was when you start a note, and if it's like in a draft, and I would go back to the draft, like even if it was empty, you know, like if I just had empty drafts or something, if I was going to start something. But I don't remember ever writing in September on that specific, when I was writing. I remember that day and I wrote that whole thing in full. I never went back and edited it.
So your testimony now is that it was just a matter of you starting it, but not actually writing anything on September 6th.
Yeah, like not really starting it, like if it was a draft, like in the notes.
Right.
That's the only thing, because I don't remember writing in September 6th about that.
Okay. But the beauty of this sort of evidence is that we can tell when you start a note and then you don't write anything, right? Because on October 3rd, 2021, you did that, right?
I wrote, wait, can you say that again?
Sure. So the beauty of this evidence is you can see when you actually do what you're describing, which is starting a note but not writing anything.
Yeah.
Because you did that on October 3rd, 2021.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Would it refresh your memory to look at a Celebrate report of your notes?
Can I see them?
Sure. May I approach?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. This is 212 I'm refreshing your recollection with.
Sure.
You want me to slow it?
No.
I'm going to direct you to line number 3. It is October 3rd, 2021, right? That's the date. And yet, there's nothing in it, right?
Right.
Do you remember, does that help you?
So that's the day I started it, and I didn't go back in, and
So
is that what you're saying?
take a look at it. I'll scan it with you. I'll leave it with you.
So the October 3rd is this one where I'm talking about I feel trapped. Is that the one that you're talking about?
No, I'll direct you again. May I approach, Turner?
Yeah.
Sure. You can approach freely for this purpose.
So it's entry number 3, note number 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a date that says October 3rd, right?
Oh.
And there's no body.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so again, how you can tell if there's anything added to a note is there's a section on the Celebrate report that says body of what the note contents are, right?
Yeah.
And on that October 3rd, 2021 date, there is no body, right?
Right.
There's just appearingly what seems to be a note that was started and never finished,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And your testimony today to this jury is that you wrote this note or these notes because you were afraid and sure that Stacy was going to kill you, right?
Yeah.
Then on this note number 5 specifically, you write a whole paragraph to her, right?
Right.
You say, and to Stacy, the love I have for you is unexplainable. You've literally been by my side every step of this whole 8 months, right?
Right.
Quote, you sat next to me while I drank and listened to me, right?
Right.
You went out of your way to help me, right?
Right.
You literally went through the same, or we literally went through the same shit together. You slept in the car with me knowing you had your own bed, right?
Right.
You offered to pick up my kids when I had no car, right?
Yeah.
To this day, you will put me first before yourself.
Right.
You go on to describe sort of the toxic nature of your relationship, right?
Right.
You say, it sucks because we both know we are toxic for each other.
Right.
We would never have worked out because you're not good for me.
Right.
You would have never built me into the woman I know I could have been.
Yeah.
The love I had for you, Stacy, wasn't fake because I did love you.
Right.
And I will always, you wrote depend, but I'm assuming you mean defend, because the next part of it is your name and love you.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, it says I will always depend your name and obviously keep it down for you.
Right.
I'm sorry you meet me at my lowest point in life. I'm assuming you meant met.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry we're both toxic for each other. I love you, Stacy. Right?
Yeah.
Nothing in any of these notes say Stacy's going to kill me. Right?
I just talked about the abuse.
Nothing in these notes say if someone finds this, go look in that direction. Right? Like that's not the purpose of this note. Right?
No, I was just venting and just wanting to let my family and my kids know that I loved them if anything had ever happened to me.
Anything meaning you were going to get arrested because of everything that you were a part of.
I was mostly fearful that I knew she was going to kill me. She already told me she was going to kill me. And so I was just waiting for that day.
So then why didn't you go to the police, ma'am?
I was just too scared. Everything that she was telling me, and I was believing her lies. And she had me so convinced that she's done this before and everything's going to be okay. She knows what she's doing, you know, and I was scared and I should have went to the police.
And especially if you thought she was going to kill your children, right?
No, Javier.
So your testimony is that you didn't think she was going to kill your children?
She never threatened my kids until I came into jail.
What about when you're concerned she's going to kill the father of your children, your high school sweetheart? You don't call the police then?
She just told me if I stop talking to him, if I keep talking to him, she's going to kill him. And so I stopped talking to him.
Now your testimony is that you stopped talking to Javier.
I tried to stop talking to him, and I just told him we could only talk about the kids and nothing else.
And when you met with Investigator Burrows, you told him some of this, right?
Right.
Yeah. And you laid it all out there for Mr. Burrows in your 7.5-hour proffer, right?
Yeah.
And you specifically painted a picture that you could not, as we've heard, I think your exact words were lift a finger without Stacy knowing, right?
Right.
And that was part of your excuse as to why you didn't go to the police, right?
Right.
And ma'am, you've had an opportunity to review proposed defendants exhibits AA, BB, CC, DD, EE, FF, GG, HH, II, JJ, KK, and LL. and MM, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you had an opportunity to review those downstairs with your lawyer, right?
Right.
Okay. And you recognize what these are, right?
Yeah.
They are various portions of communications between yourself and Miss Rodriguez via Facebook Messenger between the dates of October 5th, 2021 and November 9th, 2021, right?
Right.
And are they fair and accurate depictions of the screenshots that actually you took of those communications?
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember some of the conversations or when I actually took the screenshot, but yeah.
Do they look like they've been altered and manipulated in any way?
I don't know when I took, or I don't know when the actual message happened, but I remember I started getting in the habit of taking screenshots because she started deleting stuff off of my phone. And
My question was, do these look like I've manipulated them at all? Does anything in the
no.
conversations? Okay, so these are fair and accurate depictions, right?
Yeah.
This time I'd move to admit AA through MM.
Ms. Devereaux, just to make sure I don't miss one, those are AA through MM inclusive, is that
Yes,
right?
please.
Okay. And any objection from the state apart from what you've already noted?
Not unless they're, no objection as long as they're properly published.
Okay. All right. The court will admit into evidence states AA through MM inclusive. And Ms. Devereaux, you may publish consistent with our previous conversation.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it. So again, you told this jury that and Mr. Burroughs that Ms. Rodriguez would never leave you alone, correct?
Right.
Okay. I'm publishing right now. It's been marked as Exhibit AA. And Your Honor, would it be okay if we zoomed in on the actual message?
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, ma'am, this is a text or a face message communication between you and Ms. Rodriguez on Facebook on October 5th, 2021, right?
Yes.
And in this Facebook message, Stacy tells you, quote, tell her I said hi, right?
Yeah.
To whoever you're talking about, right? Meaning whoever you are with or seeing, Stacy wasn't there to tell her hi herself, right?
Right.
Let's go on to BB, please. Your Honor, can I have standing permission to zoom in?
Yes.
Thank you. And this one is a Facebook message on October 8th, 2021. And here, you and Stacy are messaging each other again, and this time she's telling you about her brother Miguel being in the shower, right?
Right.
And she's telling you about needing to change her mom.
Yes.
And again, you don't know this on October 8th, 2021 because you weren't with her, right?
Right. That's just the date that I took the screenshot because I don't remember when these messages were actually written when I was looking through them.
Okay. The next one is October 9th, 2021. I'm sorry, number CC. And this one, the screenshotted date is October 9th, 2021. And Stacy's telling you here, I'm going to go put gas in the car, presumably, right?
Yeah.
And again, she's telling you she's going to get gas, and you don't know that because you're not with her, right?
Yeah.
Can we have DD, please? And here is October 9th, 2021 at 7:53 p.m. And this one actually has, or let me take that back. And this message you're saying, or you're telling Stacy, I'm home though, I promise, right?
Right.
And again, she doesn't know you're home because she's not with you, right?
Right.
Can we move to EE? And this is a screenshot you took on October 11th, 2021. And in this screenshot that you took on that date, you messaged Stacy saying, quote, I miss you too, how's it going, right?
Yeah.
Because again, you're not physically with her,
Right.
right? She goes on to tell you about her interactions with Vanessa, Roman, family members, right?
Yes.
And how essentially she tells you about Vanessa seeing your kids at Walmart, right?
Right.
And again, you're not with Stacy, right?
Right.
And then can we have FF, please? And this one is, again, more of this. And I'm going to actually skip to Gigi. Gigi, and you told this jury that, oh, it's just some of these screenshots. I don't know the date I took them, right? I just took them, and that's the date that was reflected that you took them, right?
Right.
But this video actually has a date on it, right?
Yeah.
And that date is October 13th,
Yeah.
right? And so the date actually, if we can zoom in on the metadata, the video contents is confirmed by the same metadata that we're relying on, right?
Right.
And October 13th, 2021, this is a video of you at a park by yourself drinking human bean, watching your kids play on the playground, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
I don't know what that video. I haven't seen it.
Okay. Would it refresh your recollection to see that video?
Yeah.
Okay. And while I'm looking for this, we'll keep going, okay?
Okay.
The next one is on to HH, please. And can we make that one bigger, please? And this one is another Facebook communication between you and Ms. Rodriguez, right?
Right.
And she's telling you, guess who HMU, which means hit me up, right?
Yeah.
And she's saying there's no parking in the back. She's describing what she's calling a crackhead, seeing a crackhead. And again, you don't know any of this because you guys aren't together, right?
Right.
That's why she's having to tell you that, right?
Yeah.
And if we can zoom out a little bit more. The date that it was, the metadata says it's from, is modified on October 22nd, 2021, right?
Yeah.
And there's actually a timestamp that says 5/26/10, right? UTC time.
Right.
Okay. Can we zoom back out again? And then can we go to the next one, please? This one's II. And this one, she's telling you about having some tamales and wishing you good luck, right?
Right.
And do you recall what she was wishing you good luck about?
No.
Okay. Do you remember anything about this tamale conversation at all?
Honestly, not really.
Okay. And what helps us here is we do have times on these ones, right?
Right.
So like that one was at 5:52, right?
Right.
And we know that was at 5:52 when you say why, right?
Right.
And this metadata says that it was created, modified on October 23rd at 5:14:28 p.m., right?
Right.
Which means the entire screenshot, which includes the conversation before you say why, right?
Right.
So it is consistent that the metadata says this conversation was happening or started, and you originally screenshotted it contemporaneously on that October 23rd, 2021 date, right?
Yeah.
And you weren't with her then, right?
Right.
Can we move on to the next one, please? Okay, thank you. Okay, so I want to go back to, I believe it was Gigi, the video of October 13th at 2021. Are you in the park with your kids? Would it refresh your recollection to actually watch the video that you took on October 13th?
Yeah.
Okay. For the record, instruct Mr. Cornelia. Can I approach?
Yes, go ahead.
Right.
Let me check. So is your memory refreshed now?
Yeah. I don't see Stacy.
You're at the park by yourself with your kids, right? Drinking Human Bean.
I mean, it doesn't mean she wasn't there, but I didn't see her in the video. Yeah.
And you would, because the video is a really great spot of sees your shadow in it, right?
Yeah. I just went like that. It wasn't.
Yeah. And you don't see any other shadow around you, right?
Right.
And you're looking at the entire playground. She's not playing with your kids, right?
She wasn't.
Can we publish JJ, please? Okay, so here we have another Facebook message, right?
Yes.
And the metadata says that this was modified on October 27th, 2021, right?
Yes.
And this one, essentially, you're sending her a picture of food that you made, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying, I did make food, but I still want to get pho with you, right?
Right.
And you're talking about dinner, right?
Yeah.
And the metadata for this picture is October 27, 2021, but specifically at 5:56 p.m., right?
Yeah.
That's dinner time, right?
Yes.
That's another way of verifying that this message was likely screenshotted at the time that the metadata reflects, right?
Right.
She wasn't with you then, right? Or else she would know that you made food, right?
Yeah.
And you were telling her, I still want to get pho with you, right?
Yeah.
She's not telling you, you better not go out and get anything without me being there, right? Or I'm going to kill you, right?
No, she never said that right there.
Right. Can we move on to KK, please? And KK, if we can make it bigger, please. You're telling her at 9:44 p.m., I'm dropping off your truck and going to my mom's, right?
Right.
She replies back a couple hours later, 11:33 p.m., saying a picture, and it's how she gonna eat 2 plates of yours but not even finish one of his. Do you remember that conversation?
Mm-mm.
Okay. She talking about your children here? Do you remember? Does that sound familiar?
No, I don't think she would be talking about my kids.
Okay. And as we can see, the metadata, again, it's in UTC time, right? It says here 10:33 p.m. The picture shows that this message was sent at 11:33 p.m. Do you remember when those messages were sent?
Where they were sent?
I'm sorry?
Did you say?
Sure. Do you remember if these messages were sent after Mr. Dickerson's death? Let's put it that way.
I don't remember.
Okay. Can we move on to LL, please? And LL, here's another conversation with Ms. Rodriguez, right?
Yes.
Can you make it bigger, please? And again, this one, you're not sure, or let me ask you this. She's saying, call you back my ass. How are you going to say you feel like getting ready after you see the video of him and go out nice, all pretty? And again, she's telling you at the very end, have a bomb-ass day, amour, right?
Yeah.
And that was like a term of endearment from her to you that she'd frequently call you.
Yep.
Now, if we zoom out on this one, the metadata says that this was modified on November 6, 2021 at 3:02 UTC time, right?
Yeah.
That's obviously inconsistent with the time in the actual screenshot message, right?
Right.
Because the message says 2:56, but then we see 3:02, right?
Right.
But it would be consistent if you were to have taken the screenshot a couple minutes after getting the text message, right?
Right.
And again, Ms. Rodriguez isn't with you here either,
Right.
right? And can we have MM, please? Okay, this one is, again, another message from you, Ms. Rodriguez, and here she's calling you amour again, right?
Right.
Again, another term of endearment from her to you,
Right.
right? And for this one, she's telling you that she's going to eat and shower and wash the truck real quick, right?
Yeah.
And again, you don't know that because you're not physically with her, right?
Right.
And this particular message was sent, does it sound on November 9th, 2021? Does that sound right to you?
I don't remember.
Okay. Thank you.